Red Pill Philosophy. Chris, welcome to the show.
Really excited to be.
Awesome to have you.
Free will versus predeterminism, and do we have control over our actions and our destinies? I'm compelled to do it. I just really enjoy it. It makes me feel like I'm in the right place where I'm supposed to be in my life, and it's just something that comes natural to me. Is it courage? Maybe not. Maybe it's just, maybe we all just have our place in this world, and for some reason, this is where I've ended up. Look, I don't even call myself a flat earther yet. I still call myself, I got my hands up in the air right now, I call myself a globe skeptic.
Well, the one thing that I've recognized about your channel, all that I ask for in any video I watch is just be honest with them. Man, when I turn on a video by you, there's no doubt in my mind what I'm listening to is not coming from something else. It's coming from your heart. It's coming from your mind. Chris, talk about this censorship by Flat Earth, or of Flat Earth by YouTube.
Now, if you thought those videos were heavily censored by YouTube, well, it appears the company now has a new target: Flat Earth videos. In a statement released today, Friday, January 25th, YouTube announced its new commitment for 2019 to crack down on what it calls borderline content. Stuff that, quote, doesn't quite cross the line of violating our community guidelines, but does get close to it. As a result, YouTube says it will begin, quote, reducing recommendations of borderline content and content that could misinform users in harmful ways, such as videos promoting a phony miracle cure for a serious illness, claiming the earth is flat, or making blatantly false claims about historic events like 9/11. Wait a minute. You people who believe in the globe, you globe defenders, you guys need corporate welfare from YouTube in order to beat flat earthers in a debate?
Yeah. Man, well, the corporate welfare that the globetards have needed in order to stay competitive in this flat earth debate has been around for a while. I mean, just for the last year and a half, you go to YouTube, you type in flat earth, and it's rigged with nothing but mainstream media results debunking, quote, debunking flat earth. So it's nothing new, but YouTube recently released a blog post openly saying they're going to start censoring flat earth. They are going to crack down. They're going to shut down the recommendation algorithm. They're going to go heavy in on it. And when I heard that, I was just like, well, this is the out in the open confirmation that globe believers cannot debate on the merits of the argument. They cannot debate on the merits of the evidence and the information. They literally need corporate welfare from how big is YouTube? It's so mad. It's like a mega corporation doesn't even do justice to how big YouTube and Google is. Because, they say flat earthers are stupid, but nothing says stupid like hallucinating earth curvature from your airplane window. I mean, this is something I've been harping on lately because it's just hilarious. Neil deGrasse Tyson, king of mainstream consensus science, he is on video saying you cannot see earth curvature from your commercial airliner at 35,000 feet altitude. You can't even see it from 4 times that height. The Red Bull jump guy who jumped from, the middle of freaking space from 128,000 feet high, you can't even see the curvature from that high. So again, people like to mock flat earthers, call them crazy and stupid, but flat earthers aren't the ones hallucinating Earth's curvature out of their airplane windows.
You can't see it from 128,000 feet, but you can see it from the shoreline.
Oh yes, of course. You can, ships disappearing bottom up.
Those tidbits of flat Earth are 100% scripted. There's nothing natural about it. It's not a random thing. It's just completely scripted. When they were questioning the CEO or whoever that was, the woman from Google or from YouTube,
right?
And she brought up flat Earth, and when Obama brings up flat Earth, and anytime flat Earth comes up in any of these news hearings, these things are scripted. What the agenda is or how they're using it, that's up for debate, but they're 100% scripted.
That if you want to make money on YouTube, it's really easy. All you need to do is go promote the globe. Make some channel that's, flat Earth debunked, flat Earth killed, and watch your subscribers just run right up, and they'll give you all the views you want and push your video as much as possible.
Well, YouTube has all but come out and admitted that that's how their algorithm is going to be going forward into 2019. I mean, they've said they're going to censor flat Earth videos. And you might be like, well, that means that the globe defenders who make videos about flat Earth, they're also going to get censored. But I highly doubt that for two reasons. Number one, we've seen this really bizarre, explosive growth from so many of these globe defender channels. Like, really impressive growth. It's not impossible, but it's like, you scratch your chin, you're like, wow, you get a lot of views. It's almost as if you're not shadow banned. It's almost as if every single one of your subscribers gets a freaking notification on their phone when you release a video. It's a click-through rate like I've never seen before. I'm pretty sure that they're not just suppressing flat Earth videos that like support the theory. They're also pushing anybody who debunks it. So yeah, now's a great time. Like, obviously I'm being sarcastic, I'm kidding, but like it's kind of funny. Now would probably be the time. Start a channel. Go start a channel called Mr. Skeptic Proves the Globe. And like, you'll probably get like 10,000 subscribers in like 3 weeks, and you'll be on the trending page every day on YouTube.
Just listen to this message that he got, and it's telling you that people that aren't even flat earthers are going to start looking at this a little bit sideways and saying, well, why are they censoring flat Earth videos? Well, I'll let this tell you. Here we go.
Okay, so real quick, guys. So I just got a private message from somebody on my Red Pill Philosophy Facebook page, and they are literally just baffled as to why YouTube would think it's pertinent to censor flat Earth. So this is the comment right here. This is the private message. It goes, thanks for the link. I'm not a flat earther, but this is crazy. Conspiracy shows like Ancient Aliens are showed on TV, Discovery Channel all the time. But ordinary YouTubers can't talk about flat Earth? What the?
If you've never heard the actual flat Earth arguments, based on your social brainwashing of what flat Earth is or what they tell you it is, flat Earth should be, it's about as ridiculous as like Bigfoot or like freaking UFOs landing in some fucking like redneck's, back garden or something. So it's just strange to me that of all the things that they could censor, you have these Bigfoot conspiracy theories, you have all these things, but they don't touch those. But for some reason, something that is easily, as arguably as quote ridiculous, because they make flat Earth seem incredibly ridiculous in the mainstream, but there's only one of these myriad of ridiculous conspiracy theories. There's one that they've decided, that the mega corporations have decided they need to silence. And of course, it's flat Earth, not Bigfoot, not Sasquatch. Joe Rogan can go hunting Sasquatch in the woods for hours and hours and hours, and we're all supposed to love it. But if you talk about flat Earth, suddenly it's, everybody, the air gets sucked out of the room and everybody craps their pants. And sometimes I wonder if maybe it's because, to quote Nathan Oakley, the legend Nathan Oakley, maybe the Earth is obviously and observably flat, and people know deep down that that's exactly what it is.
The biggest and scariest religion that there is, which is this religious belief in space. And space is a problem because it's the single most...
It's out of our reach. It's inaccessible. You basically need government approval to go there. I mean, people be like, oh, what about private space companies? They don't need government approval. Dude, Elon Musk smoked a joint on Joe Rogan's podcast, and NASA supposedly launched an investigation into, what the hell he was doing. So much for private space companies having all this, freedom. One of the easiest cop-outs, scapegoat, is, well, what about the pictures from space? And so they'll point up. And I think that's sort of a convenient, it's a very convenient thing where the very thing that they believe in is simultaneously inaccessible and unfalsifiable. If it turns out that space doesn't exist, it's a tough pill to swallow, and people love to point up to the unfalsifiable, the space pictures, the ISS, the satellites and all this stuff. But why? Why not? Why not just bring it down to Earth? Let's talk about long-distance zoom observations that people do. Let's talk about how there's literally zero proof of gravity. Like, the best experimental scientific proof of gravity is a Cavendish experiment, which is a hilarious embarrassment to science. So there's no proof of gravity, and people freak out when they hear that for the first time. They'll be like, whoa, if I drop my phone on the floor, it falls down. That must be gravity, right? It's like, no, that's not gravity. Gravity is things pulling to the center of mass But all we ever experience is down, straight down to our feet. We never experience the sense of down, changing direction as we take a flight around the globe or something.
P900, or do you have a P1000?
P1000.
So you've been taking some long distance photography yourself, and what kind of things have you seen?
I've seen very interesting days where footage that I captured where it looks like distant buildings are actually hidden behind some type of horizon line of water as I look out over the ocean. I've gone out sometimes and it'll look like, I'll be looking at the lighthouse that's 14 miles away, according to the official globe curve calculator. It's supposed to be hidden by like 80 feet of Earth's curvature. And I'll see what looks like 3/4 of the lighthouse missing. It looks like, hey, shit, that actually might be the majority of the lighthouse missing behind the curvature in accordance with the official curvature calculators. Wow, slam dunk. We live on a globe, right? Well, no. Sometimes I go out there and I can see everything. I can see the whole lighthouse. I can see trees around the base. I can see little freaking rock structures they have literally on the water.
So now they got to not only prove R, but they've got to prove that R changes.
Yeah, they have to prove that R is a hyper, warping, looming. So yeah, so what do we live on? Is Earth like breathing? But maybe there's lungs inside the Earth, and the Earth breathes, and it's like it's expanding some days, and some days it contracts. Like, I think what they've done is they have sculpted and tweaked the globe over probably centuries.
Yeah.
And they always adding in little tweaks, like, okay, it's a sphere. Well, technically it's an oblate spheroid, so it's a little fatter around the equator. Oh, well, actually it's also a little pear-shaped too. Oh, it's also axial tilt. It has axial tilt.
One of the funniest things that I've seen, Chris, is these teachers that are going to Neil deGrasse at these speaking conferences and asking him what are they supposed to do, because all these children now are asking questions about the globe and they can't get these children to get off of it, probably because the evidence is the same thing that we've all seen, nil.
It's your job. Get to work. Like, maybe some teachers aren't that passionate about the topics they teach. Maybe they're just there for a paycheck for the most part. But even if you're an extremely passionate teacher and you care about teaching, I mean, that's what you're there to do. The problem is that a lot of the curriculum that teachers teach is just handed down to them from the Department of Education. So they're not even passionately interested in sharing that knowledge. It's just what some authority bureaucrat tells them they need to teach for that semester in that curriculum. That's probably going to be humiliating for a teacher if they have to try to rebut that in front of a bunch of other students who think the teacher is the authority and should know all the answers. So I understand why a lot of teachers are kind of crapping their pants that there's this thing called the internet and it's allowing this explosive free flow of information never seen before in the history of recorded history. I just think it's so pathetic to see people resist change like this. Like, this is coming. Unless you plan to shut down the internet itself, there's nothing you can do to stop this mass awakening that's happened, because never before have we had a collective hive mind investigating a single question simultaneously all across the planet. And that question is, do we live in a spinning ball? YouTube has admitted just a couple days ago, like we were discussing earlier, that they are coming to shut down Flat Earth.
There's a problem when part of the curriculum is to get in there and tell everybody, oh, well, we've known this for 2,000 years, and here's this experiment that Aristophanes did. And then you're right. Somebody can just come up and say, well, how come in this video I've seen Neil deGrasse say that experiment actually doesn't prove it? That's a problem for teachers because they haven't been equipped with the answers to that, because all they've been given is, here, teach this Aristophanes experiment, here, teach this. And so when you've got children that are out there watching videos and actually seeing the kind of information that we're putting out there, yeah, they're going to go to school and they're going to put the teachers in a bit of a conundrum.
Karen, in school, they taught us about Aristophanes. They taught us about ships going over the horizon. I remember them showing that, triple-masted ship, on a video, how it goes over, and then they explained it to us. Was there anything else, or was those just the two things that prove the Earth is curved?
I remember being taught very young about water going down the opposite direction in the opposite hemisphere. So, I mean, that was a big one for me. And of course, when you start hearing flat Earth, the first thing you say is, well, then how does water go down the opposite direction? And then you look it up and you see these people in Ecuador doing this trick.
Hey, David, when you were in school and they were telling you about ships disappearing bottom up back then, did they also talk about refraction?
No. The angular resolution limits of our eyes?
Did they
They
show
didn't talk
any?
about that back then.
Did they show any boats when you zoomed in and saw that they're just going off into the distance and then not actually going? No, they didn't tell us any of that. Or
Yeah, Nathan Oakley's show is like essential listening for anybody who wants to keep up to date with the flat Earth debate. See, what happened was about 7 months ago, I got to a point. I've seen a lot of videos, but I haven't seen a lot of debates. I haven't seen a lot of actual back and forth in real time of two minds exchanging ideas. So I typed in flat Earth debate into YouTube, and I got a lot of different stuff, but I eventually stumbled upon the Nathan Oakley show, and my understanding of these topics skyrocketed to like 3,000%. For the most part, the globe is built on a house of cards. It's just arrogant people thinking they know it already, presupposing that they live on a sphere, and then forcing their observations and their math and all that other stuff to match the presupposition.
And even when they're shown actual evidence that it's not curvature, it could be some, this is another explanation, and they won't see it. They refuse. It's mind-boggling to me.
I saw your video where you were talking about whether or not Fight the Flat Earth would debate you. And it was funny because you were talking about Nathan Oakley providing this platform for people to go in and debate. And it made me think, like, what if Neil deGrasse had a YouTube channel where he said, hey, here's an open link, come debate me. Like, we would all be there. We would all be there to debate him. But in this case, nobody goes. He said he just doesn't debate people because he wants to change their way of thinking, which we know that's exactly what science class was meant to do, is to change your way of thinking, teach you introduce you to the scientific method, which we all said, oh, great, this is fantastic. And then sneak a bunch of things in there. And we just all assumed, oh, these must have gone through the scientific method. How else could they be called science? Well, until you get to this line of research, and like you said, watch Nathan Oakley's show or these other debate shows, and you can't find, these guys can't argue their points. And then you're like, well, man, what were we just all taught lies? Somebody had asked you about what's underneath the flat Earth, and I thought that your answer was great, because it's kind of my answer, is that how do we know that the Earth isn't all that there is? And that there is no something outside of the Earth. That this is it. And that there's beautiful lights in the sky that work like a great master clock, obviously with design behind it. And then you just got these people that are atheists that have this religion of space, that they get to point up into the sky and do basically a clean slate, right? They're just able to point up there, and it's an open stage where they can make anything true to those who really want to believe it. And that's why it's the ultimate religion for atheists. What say you? Yeah,
100%. They can just point up there, and it's all unfalsifiable, and nobody can prove it otherwise. And it is a religion. Atheism is 100% a religion, and that's just ironic, because they claim that they're the ultimate gods of empiricism and analytical, and they're just purely objective, and they're not. They don't have any biases. They're just pure atheist genius wizards. And it's like, no, it's a religion.
Because if you don't know where you are, who you are, even what you are, how can you ever thrive? And that is the main goal of the NASA deception, the hiding of the flat Earth, is to truly hide who we are. Hide the creator and take away our power, because our thoughts become our reality. And if you think you're a speck of dust spinning, spiraling, and rocketing in multiple directions at once, lost in space, that's who you are. You're lost in space.
Yeah, I totally agree. I do think that's essentially what it is. See, atheists, fundamentally what their religion is, it's physicalism. And physicalism is the view that reality is purely made up of physical phenomena, physical laws, physical matter, mechanistic cause and effect relationships. That's the underlying true religion. And that the atheists, the physicalists realize, well, this whole mechanistic physicalism thing is kind of a problem, because you can never have a fundamental cause if you always need a cause that came before that one. And then there's always one that came before that one. It goes on and on and on. And you never actually get an explanation for anything. In a way, it's almost mystical, but they claim it's physical, and it's not mystical. It's nothing like that. So they go on and on and on, and they spew this stuff. But Lawrence Krauss, popular atheist and physicalist, He wrote a book called A Universe from Nothing. And I bought the book years ago. I'm like, okay, let's see how he explains this. So I listened to like an 8-hour audiobook, and it took him to the last chapter to finally get to the point where he was going to explain how a universe can arise from nothing. And you know what he does at the end in the final chapter? He just redefines the word nothing to mean something about why would they lie about this. Yeah, a big recurring theme is you're just a speck of dust. You have no soul. You have no consciousness. If you do have consciousness, it's just a random emergent property of the meat brain in your skull. Where I have the alternate view, where it's not that your physical body gives rise to consciousness. I would say consciousness, some type of intelligence, gives rise to the apparent physical matter reality. So they got the whole thing flipped backwards, and they got us trapped in this matrix. And if it turns out they're lying about the spinning space ball and the globe and space, then all that shit is incredible spiritual propaganda to keep us trapped in a matrix of deadening materialism.
They've made the Earth 0.00000 bunch of zeros, 1% of the entire universe, when in actuality it could be that the Earth is 100% of the universe.
Came out of a star. And
shit!
All that shit. They're like, oh, this will really give you a sense of deep meaning and spirituality. You're the byproduct of a star imploding. Don't you feel good about yourself now? It's like, it's just ridiculous. No, I don't feel good that I'm like freaking some type of combustive, explosive byproduct. Yeah.
No, and last time they talked, I think that they went back and forth about the fact that in another universe there is, and this isn't like they're postulating like maybe, they're saying no, there's an infinite amount of universes. So there's universes where us three are having this conversation right now, and it's about to branch off in a different direction, because that's what has to be true if you've got this infinite amount of universes, and yet this is what intellectuals believe.
Yeah, but flat Earth is ridiculous.
I used to love Joe Rogan.
That's a question I have for you. When you had such a big channel, when you started talking about flat Earth, were you afraid to even mention it?
No, I wasn't. I actually looked forward to pissing off my subscribers, and not because I'm a bad person who likes to see people in misery, but because I started my YouTube channel like whatever 6-7 years ago, whenever the hell it was. Literally because I wanted to find a way to make a living doing what I love. So yeah, it's nice to make money, and it's nice to make money doing things you're passionate about and you find interesting. But the primary goal was sort of have a place where I can be me, express what's true to me. And if it alienates half my subscribers, then I literally relish in losing subscribers, because I just feel like, well, at least I haven't sold my soul, and I'm not pandering to people because I'm afraid my freaking statistical subscriber metrics are going to plummet. We're in a time right now where with the internet, you can reach so many people that you can just put your heart out there, put what you're passionate about out there. Potential billions of people on the face of the planet who might stumble upon your stuff and like it.